What is going on, everybody, and welcome back. We're here on the free-to-play account, the road to max rank, and we are doing the EZA for Android 17, 18, and 16, the LR Fizz Androids. Now, they seem pretty good. They're not like ridiculous, insane, or anything like that, but they seem like a good EZA to have existed this time, and their EZA is actually not that bad, right? They're a huge support and a big part for the Androids team that need help, especially because it doesn't really have any crazy units in there, and a lot of the units that have released have already aged out. The only good ones and the notable ones obviously being 21 and some of the other MVP 17 and stuff like that, right? So this is a genuinely big boost for the Androids team, and hopefully we get more buffs and stuff like that for the Androids team sooner rather than later, right? But nonetheless, we are doing the EZA for them, and this time around we are using Master Evolution. Bunch of LRs for Master Evolution does not make this difficult whatsoever, right? I'll show you my team right now to get this. This is a team that I'm bringing. Also, the new update came out today, which is very nice. This is a team that I'm bringing, and he just steamrolls, dude. Like, really. Kao King Goku is only here because he's an STR unit, but he hasn't really done anything because I just kill with all the other units, right? So it is what it is. But with that being said, all information that you see on the right-hand screen comes through the Dokkan Wiki. I will have a link in the description to the Dokkan Wiki for both variants of the character. That way you can look at them at your own pace and stuff like that, right? So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're just gonna let this auto battle and see how this plays out. I might intervene here and there to make sure I get LR links. Not in this. This is not going to work. So, all right, let's start off with the Android's journey. Android 17 and 18 / Android 16. Their leader skill is Android's category key +4, HP attack and defense 170%, or Extreme Fizz key type key +4, HP attack and defense 100%. Their passive is the Android's True Might, key +3, attack and defense 178%. Plus an additional attack and defense 78% when performing a super attack, medium chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack, plus an additional key +3 and chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack, 20% when HP is 66% or more at the start of turn, plus an additional 35% within the same turn, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack for 3 turns after evading an attack, including super attack. Android's category key +2, attack and defense 50%. They are a fantastic support for the Androids team, dude, and they work very well. Considering they're a dodge character, they're not a crazily 70% chance, but they are 50, which is better than nothing, and it is a little bit of an improvement for sure. But besides, they also get a lot of stats everywhere, which they can have pretty good defense for sure, especially after they dodge. It lasts for 3 turns. You could definitely make that. You could definitely have that, right? All right, so let's move on to the super attacks. So their 12 key is Bloody Crash Extreme. Raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes colossal damage to the enemy and lowers attack and defense. Their 18 key is Triple Annihilation. Extreme raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes mega colossal damage to the enemy and greatly lowers attack and defense. So they lower attack and defense both their super attacks, which is pretty good. Could be good for a lot of scenarios for sure. And since they give themselves 30% attack and defense, they look pretty good there as well. Getting multiple supers is definitely in their cards for sure, especially when they get that 78% when super attacks. So they can have really good stats for sure. Being able to tank normals is very good. Most of the game can't tank supers, so it doesn't matter that they can't, right? It matters and it doesn't matter, but they have their dodge, which can save them, right? All right, let's go and move on to the links. Their links are Infinite Energy, Android Assault, Solid Support, Shocking Speed, Soul vs. Soul, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. Their categories are Android Cell Saga, Androids Join Forces, Similes Bond, and Target Goku. Not that many categories, but all these categories have other androids in them that they can benefit from and they can link out well from. So it's not the biggest thing in the world, but I mean, not having a lot of categories is kind of, it is what it is, right? All right, hold on. The transformation condition has remained the same before their EZA. So it doesn't change, but we'll read it off here. Can be activated when HP is 66% or less with 2 or more Android category allies on the team, or it can be activated at any time when facing an enemy whose name includes Cell. Cell Jr. excluded once only. So obviously you want to run them with other androids. They work very well with other androids, right? But if by some chance we get an end game Cell, can automatically transform, which is very good. All right, I'll show the first 15 partners, their first 15 link partners on screen. They link up well with other androids, right? But then they kind of trail off, quotations, to like other varying characters. I mean, because they do have like solid support, shocking speed, fierce battle, legendary power. So they link up well with other defensive units, quotations, or other characters that share similar links like that. But mostly android characters for sure. Obviously, they link the best with themselves, which is the 16 switch out. But yeah. All right. Let's move on to Android 16. And I did not pull him up. There we go. All right. Android 16. So his leader skill remains the same. His passive changes up a little bit. Mysterious power revealed. Key plus A attack and defense 240%. Plus an additional attack and defense 160% when performing a super attack. High chance of performing a crit. Performs a crit hit if HP is 66% or less at the start of turn, or if there is an enemy whose name includes Cell. Wow. So he guaranteed crits if he's less than 66%, or he just guaranteed crits against a Cell. He's totally meant to fight Cell. Launches his additional super attack when there is an android's Cell category enemy, or when all allies attacking the same turn are androids category allies. So, our androids category characters. His 12 key and his 18 key. So, his 12 key is Hell Flash Extreme. Greatly raises attack and defense for one turn, causes colossal damage to the enemy, and lowers enemy attack and defense. And then his 18 key, Triple Annihilation Max. Greatly raises attack and defense for one turn and causes mega colossal damage to the enemy while sacrificing 6% HP. That 6% may not sound that crazy, but it could catch you, bro. It could maybe catch you. We'll see how that plays out. All right. His links are Infinite Energy, Android Assault, Solid Support. Tough as Nails is, I think, the only one that changes out. And Soul vs. Soul, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. Categories remain the same, transformations. His partners change up a little bit, but it's more or less the same pool of characters. Obviously, he links up the best with himself, his counterpart, his non-transformed counterpart, right? But obviously, the 18 and 16 Android, they pair up well. We need some easy A's, dude. This int Android 16 needs an easy A, and he needs to be a lot better than he is, right? But you know, he'll link up well with other Android characters, you know, even if it's just one or two, you know, like Android Assault, Infinite Energy, you know what I mean? Like, he'll link up fine here and there with other characters for sure, you know what I mean? So, he's not a detriment at all. But it does kind of suck that he doesn't have like a good linking partner, like a character who's genuinely a good character that links up well with him. That doesn't exist, at least not right now, unless you want to count one or two links linked up with them as a good linking partner. But we do have them, so we are gonna go over and we are gonna awaken them, and I'm gonna show you a kit that I made a long time ago, because I got this character a while ago and I just made a character, right? But I'm going to recommend a completely different build that I feel like everybody's going to agree upon because of based upon their first form. So their second form is entirely a damage dealer. Android 16 is entirely a glass cannon, which is fine because the androids don't really have like a crazy damage dealer outside of, you know, 21 who could do pretty good damage because you could super a whole bunch. But it's really like there isn't like a single character that does like 15 million. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't technically exist. You know what I mean? MVP 17 is entirely a support character with offensive capabilities, but it's really not anything more than that, right? So this is the androids. I have them one dupe away from being fully rainbowed, but the way you want to build them is completely opposite of what you see. Completely opposite. You want to build them with full dodge. Now, obviously, I cannot change this without spending stones And if I deem it entirely necessary to do so, I will spend stones here and there. I might change out that link, the crit ones out, because that's completely useless considering the fact that they give themselves a bunch of crit, which becomes not a big necessity to give them crit. So I might change those out. I might fix my mistake there, but everything else I'll probably keep the same because it does cost quite a bit of stones to get them fixed, quotations, right? If it's a big enough thing, I will change them, but because my stones are limited, regardless if I didn't summon the day before or not, it's something that I don't want to, do because it is expensive. I wish it was less expensive to change them out, or you can use another resource outside of a dupe or stones, but that doesn't exist, at least not right now, right? Because it is what it is, especially some of these older EZAs. You never know how they're going to change it up. So, but I should have anticipated that. I should have given them full dodge to begin with, right? I didn't do that, and that was my mistake. So I'm going to try to fix it with the skill orbs, and maybe I'll use 10 stones to fix the crit. But that's the most I'll do unless it's crazy than necessary. But you want to do full dodge with sub additional and no crit. That's exactly how you want to do it, because you want to give them as much of a chance to dodge in their first form, right? Because they are entirely a dodge character in their first form with some defensive capabilities and raw stats, but that's it. So you want to boost that defensive capability of them, of being able to dodge the big boy attacks. I feel like they'll have enough stats just in general in order to tank normals effectively. Maybe not fantastically, but effectively, right? And then when they need to dodge their super attack, they can have a good chance of dodging the super attack, making them a viable unit, right? On top of being a 50% support, they are possibly an essential run on the androids team, even if they're slot 3 or slot 1 or slot 2 unit, right? They are for sure an essential unit for the androids teams as of right now. Maybe that'll change in the future, but I don't think so, because they're a big support, so I think they'll always be good. And dodge characters usually last a lot longer than most other characters, right? Because they could just, it doesn't matter what happens unless a boss has, negate dodge, but still, nonetheless, they're still pretty good. But they seem overall pretty good. They have defensive capabilities in their first slot, in the first transformation, and then once they transform into 816, when you decide to transform, my boy over here just shooting out multi-million freaking super attacks that could just do a ridiculous amount of damage and have a great chance to crit, or a guaranteed chance to crit depending if you find a cell, right? So my boy here is a damage dealer. The huge negative is that he's entirely raw stats with no other thing aside of him, right? He doesn't have dodge, so he doesn't retain that. He doesn't have guard nor damage reduction. It would have been cool if he would have retained dodge, but I think if they just gave him guard for the first turn of he appears, he would be so good. He would genuinely be so good, because then you can go into the turn as 16, have guard, have reasonably good stats, right? And then he just dishes out 15 million, and then he just does like 10 million, 10, 15, or whatever the numbers are, right? And my boy you can utilize his offensive capability without throwing him in slot 2 and dealing with that, right? That would have been a way to improve this character, and that's pretty much all they could have done for 16 without making him too crazy. Because I feel like, dude, damage wise, he's gonna do a stupid amount of damage, right? He's gonna do nutty damage. So you do have to balance these characters out. And I mean, you could talk about boosting the trio here. Instead of a 30% chance, it should have been 50, and then they get 20. That would have been good. That would have made them even way better, right? And that could have made them a little bit better, but they didn't do that, which is fine, right? But with that being said, let me know what you guys think of the trio. Let me know what you guys think of the EZA. Was it difficult? Was it hard? I don't think it was that difficult. I think it was actually pretty easy, considering the type of characters and the type of LRs you can bring from Asteroid Evolution. It seemed pretty easy. Even auto battling, I didn't run into any trouble, and I was barely looking. So that's it. So I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think of the trio. Let me know, you guys, of your builds, or do you agree with my build, or do you hate my build, or do you detest me because I built them beforehand and I don't want to spend the stones. I'll try to fix as much as possible within reason, but I'm not gonna spend, I don't know, 30 something stones to make them full dodge. Like, I'm not going to, especially when I don't spend money on this account. So every stone does matter to me, right? So I need to be a little bit cautious. Maybe in the future, if I get dupes of them outside of the rainbow, maybe I'll fix them, but even then, I don't know, but we'll see. I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Take care.